Family. Spoilers ahead, so be careful. It is a dark night on the Russian coast, and Oleg is helping a group of smugglers move a huge amount of caviar using a small boat. The sailor he hired strongly objects, and reminds Oleg that the boat can only carry a limited load. He refuses even when Oleg offers him extra money. Oleg does not give up. He pretends to call his wife, but secretly contacts one of the smugglers, and tells him to confirm the cargo is within the safe limit, so the sailor will agree. The trick works, and the caviar is loaded onto the boat. Unfortunately, they do not travel far, because the overloaded boat slowly sinks, and the cargo disappears into the water. The men are forced to swim back to shore. When the sailor demands payment for the ruined boat, Oleg gives him his modern car, and ends up keeping the sailor's old broken vehicle, along with a massive debt to the smugglers. The next day, Oleg visits his girlfriend Sveta at the bank where she works, and asks for a loan, because he has not finished paying his previous loan. Trying to support him, Sveta suggests asking her family for help, since they own a house. Oleg hates the idea because he cannot stand her family, but he has no other choice. They drive to the house where the entire family lives together. There is Sveta's father Boris, who loves singing strange songs, and has stayed inside the house for years, because he believes he is wanted by authorities. Her grandfather Pavel constantly talks about wanting to die. Her sister Rita works as an accountant at a theater, but dreams of performing on stage. Her brother Tolik hopes to join the army, but cannot because of his asthma, and instead spends his time training dogs. Her younger sister Sasha spends her days dreaming about becoming an adult, and secretly has a crush on Oleg. Oleg tries speaking with Boris about his financial problems, but has to wait until he finishes singing. When Boris finally listens, he panics, and thinks selling the house would be like selling the family into slavery. Oleg tries to explain that nobody will lose anything, and he only needs a guarantor letter. But Boris still refuses. Suddenly their argument is interrupted, when a meteorite crashes through the roof, and lands inside the house, hitting Pavel. The family runs outside thinking they are under attack, but when they see meteors falling across the sky, they realize what actually happened. They return inside and check on Pavel. After putting him in bed, Oleg and the siblings begin digging to pull the meteorite out so they can sell it. One by one the siblings fall asleep, and leave Oleg digging alone. He finishes by morning, and when he climbs out of the hole, Pavel calls him from bed, and says he is about to die. Oleg wants to call an ambulance, but Pavel refuses because he feels he has lived long enough, and wants to leave peacefully. Before dying, he tells Oleg to give his family one final message, that they can all go to hell. After confirming Pavel has truly died, Oleg runs to tell Sveta, but she is deeply asleep, and does not respond. He eventually falls asleep beside her. Later, Tolik comes to wake him up and show him something. When Oleg enters the living room, he discovers the meteorite has transformed into a strange liquid. Sasha now has incredible strength, and Rita has the ability to fly. Sveta appears shortly after with half of her body invisible, and suddenly Pavel also appears alive again. When Rita accidentally flies through the hole in the roof and crashes down, Pavel dies once more as Sveta becomes fully visible again. They bring Rita inside and tie her down so she does not float away again, which strangely causes Pavel to wake up again. The family finally realizes the meteorite has given them unusual powers. Sveta thinks they should inform the authorities, but when she leaves the room, Pavel dies again, and Rita loses the ability to float. This leads them to understand their powers only work when they stay together. They visit a doctor, but he says their bodies are completely healthy, and the strange effect is simply part of how their powers function. Later during dinner, they discuss what to do with their new abilities. Rita wants to perform on stage, while Pavel warns that scientists might experiment on them if people discover the truth. Tolik later realizes he can understand dogs while feeding them. Oleg suggests the family should appear on television and earn money from their powers, but Boris refuses to allow his family to be used like that. That night, Oleg asks Sveta about the money she manages at the bank, while she jokingly wonders if her future children will also be invisible. The next morning, Pavel attempts to hang himself, but fails because he cannot die while he stays close to the family. Boris discovers that his power is teleportation when he suddenly appears in a different place while in the bathroom. He decides the family should take a short vacation to relax, controlling his teleportation. Meanwhile, Oleg reveals a plan he has created. He suggests that the family should use their powers to rob a bank. Since Sveta can turn invisible, she could enter the bank and walk out with the money while the rest stay nearby, so she keeps her ability. Rita, Tolik and Sasha support the idea, but Boris refuses again, and even says he does not care if Oleg leaves the family. Angry, Oleg drives away, and Sveta follows him. On the road they are suddenly stopped by the smugglers who demand their money. Oleg promises he can repay them later, but they threaten him and say if he does not pay soon they will sell his organs on the black market. After hearing this, Sveta finally understands the danger he is in, and agrees to help with the robbery. The next day they show Boris a beautiful house they could buy if the plan succeeds. He still resists, but when Sveta breaks down in tears and tells him the family is tired of living in their broken house, agrees. After planning the details, the family celebrates their possible new life. Soon everyone begins adding conditions. Pavel wants to be cremated after the robbery. Rita wants to perform flying in front of an audience. And Sasha demands a date with Oleg. At first he refuses, but Boris tells him if he wants the family's help, he must respect their wishes. Oleg has no choice but to agree. While spending time with Sveta, Oleg finally discovers his own strange ability. He can release water from his finger, which Sveta jokes is perfect for watering plants. The family later goes to inspect the bank they plan to rob. They carefully study the layout and plan their escape. Back at home they learn Tolik has been accepted into the army and might leave. Boris is sad, but Oleg secretly manipulates the situation so Tolik stays, because they need him for the robbery. Tolik is upset, but Boris is secretly relieved. They also arrange Pavel's cremation with a funeral home. Sasha to lunch while the rest of the family secretly watches them. Sasha tells him she wants to leave the family and go away with him after the robbery. Before Oleg can answer, the smugglers appear at the restaurant and question him. Sasha realizes they are criminals and attacks them with her super strength. The family quickly escapes before more trouble starts. Finally, the day of the robbery arrives. The family gathers near the bank, while Pavel distracts nearby people. Sasha blocks the street with a vehicle, while Rita helps open a hole in the wall. Boris teleports inside, and Sveta is thrown through the opening. Once inside, she disables the alarm, and Sasha throws the safe out to the street. The family begins loading money into the car while Tolik uses dogs to distract the police. When they have taken enough money, they escape together. Later they stop to celebrate, but Pavel asks them to leave him behind so he can finally die peacefully. After emotional goodbyes they drive away, but soon return when they see him collapse. They struggle with the decision, but eventually continue their journey. Oleg pays the smugglers the money he owes, and prepares to leave the country. But when he learns the family has been arrested, while trying to recover Pavel's body, he cannot ignore the guilt. He returns to rescue them. After retrieving Pavel's body from the funeral home, he brings it to the courthouse, where the family is being held. As soon as they reunite, their powers return, and chaos erupts. They break free, escape the police, and finally flee the city together. In the end, the family pays the smugglers to hide them inside a shipping container, so they can secretly travel far away. Now they have many days ahead of them, where their only companions will be each other.